Mrs. Weir is up the top somewhere. I can hear some spraying going on. What are you doing, Julie?
I'm watering our chilies. We've got quite a few pots, and the one down here that we did earlier. So we've got, all of these are chilies, and spring onions, carrots and lettuce. Our lettuce have come up. Look. And I've seen a tiny baby carrot. One. Let's have a look at the spring onions. There's a diddy one there coming up. Wow. It's good, isn't it?
Hello.
And welcome to the vlog.
Yes, welcome to this week's vlog.
Yes. Beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cloudy this morning, but the sun has now decided to make an appearance. We thought we'd do something slightly different this week. We thought we'd give you our top tips for surviving continuous cruising.
Yeah, we know there's quite a few of you out there at the moment that are in marinas and are thinking about continuously cruising, or even just going out to the marina. And it can be quite scary, can't it?
Yeah, it can be quite a daunting thing. I mean, even here, really, we're out on the canals 24/7, and when you stay in one place, as we have been during lockdown since December the 20th, when you have to move your boat to a new location, it's a bit like moving house. It can be quite a daunting prospect, even for continuous cruisers. And we've spoken to many experienced boaters who all feel the same. They all feel as though they get anxious the night before they're about to move their boat if they haven't moved for a long period of time. So we understand entirely how you might feel leaving a marina that you've been in for the last year or the last 5 or 6 months, and you're now going to enter the big bad world of continuous cruising.
And obviously it's very different. In a marina you've got electric hookup, and then when you're out on the canal you've got to provide your own electricity and your own supply of power. So it can be quite daunting.
And I think that's, just to jump in, I think I use the term to Julie that it's a bit like cutting the umbilical cord, because you do have a safety net. You've got your car, you've got your electricity, everything's on tap, and then you're out on the canal and suddenly you don't charge your batteries because you forgot to run your engine before the 8 o'clock deadline, and you have to fend for yourself.
Yeah, it's just a different way of doing things, and we thought we'd give you a little bit of our experience from the last nearly 3 years continuously cruising.
Yeah. So, let's kick off.
So for those of you who don't know, what is a continuous cruiser?
A continuous cruiser, now that you've asked the question, Julie, a continuous cruiser is somebody who doesn't have a home mooring. Or a marina mooring. There's two types of mooring. There's home moorings and leisure moorings, and a continuous cruiser doesn't have either of those. They register with the Canal and River Trust as continuous cruisers, and they continuously cruise the network. The definition of how far they have to continuously cruise is up for debate. Although the Canal and River Trust state that it's 21 miles, they also state that it's got to be what's called bona fide travel. And the problem with bona fide travel is that it's not defined in law. So this is why the CRT have said that it has to be meaningful 21-mile travel. So what they're basically saying is that you can't go from bridge to bridge. You've got to go from A to B to C to D to E to F, and then maybe you can go back to F and E and D and so on. They're trying to stop people from congregating in the popular spots. So around cities, around services, things like that, where there's sand, water, rubbish, because it makes life easier if you can moor and stay in those areas. So they want you to continuously cruise the network. Now, there are two different types of continuous cruiser.
Yeah, I suppose there are really. I mean, there's continuous cruisers that stick to that 21-ish miles because they work in that area and they need to, or their children go to school in that area, and they need to be living and working in a 21-mile radius.
And also, just to jump in, but a lot of people ask us, how do you pin down a job on land and live on a boat? And that's how you do it. I mean, if you think about it, most people travel 5-10 miles to get to work and maybe 5-10 miles to get back. So you're probably driving 10 to 15 miles a day to get to your place of work. Well, if you've got to move 21 miles in a year and you've got to have meaningful travel, you're not really going to travel too far out of your distance.
No, you're only ever going to be 21 miles at the worst case scenario, aren't you?
And we want to point out as well that we're not, judging one type of continuous cruiser against another. Each of them are equally valid, especially if you are sticking to the rules.
So the other continuous cruiser are, as you will see, a lot of the boat tubers will be cruising from one part of the country right the way up to another part of the country, and a lot of people that are retired also do the same. Because they can travel more, they can move more
and see more.
And see more. So
they don't have the ties.
No.
That somebody who's holding down a job or children's education, etc., etc. We don't have those ties as such because we work and live from the boat. So, in the last sort of 2.5-3 years, we've been all the way up the Grand Union as far as we could go, just shy of Braunston, and then all the way back down and on the Thames and so
on the K&A.
And on the K&A. So we've travelled a fair bit. I say a fair bit. I mean, there are people that have done an awful lot more, but for a wide beam, we've travelled a fair bit. Top tip, number 1.
So our first top tip is get to know your canal stretch. And by that we mean, if you are thinking that you want to moor 6 miles ahead and you're nervous and anxious, then why not walk ahead?
Yeah.
Take a walk ahead, check out whether there's any moorings, check out whether there's, if you've got a car, whether there's somewhere for you to put your car.
Yep.
And just really do a little recce about the route. I know that's what we did first of all, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean there are 2 types of boaters. There are those that plan to within an inch of their life, and there are those that just pull up the pins and set off and hope for the best. We're definitely in the first category.
Yeah, well, I think we do a bit of both, really, don't we? We don't walk the route anymore.
No, but we definitely do plan ahead. We do look for where we're going to park the car, and then also we talk about the distance that we travel and we'll come on to the car in a minute. But we talk about the distance we travel so that we can walk back to the car, and we plan when we're leaving so that when we arrive we know we've got enough time to walk back for the car, etc., etc. So we do plan more than we sort of freestyle it.
Yeah, but it's always good to just go and have a look, see if there's any moorings. I know on the Kennet and Avon Canal it's really busy, so it's always quite handy to go and have a little check, see if there's any moorings up ahead that you can go to. And also to check whether if you need phone signal or internet.
Yeah, that's important.
It's quite handy to do a little walk there first, check that you've got phone signal, you've got internet, check that it's safe, that you feel safe. It's quite secure. And
talking of safety with the phone signal, if you moor up and you have an accident and you haven't got any phone signal, then you are stuck.
Yeah. One really good tip we can honestly recommend is the What 3 Words app. Definitely worth getting that on your phone, because if you are ill or you have a fall and you need somebody, an emergency service, to get to you urgently, you can give them the 3 words and they will pinpoint your location.
To within how many, is it a metre or?
I don't know.
A couple of metres?
It's
super accurate.
Very accurate.
Let's face it, if you're living on a boat, we all need internet just like we do in houses. So it's a really good tip, that, Julie, to take your phone with you and check when you go to the place you want to stop. And yippee, there's a mooring space, and fantastic, you're not under a big tree for your solar, and all those lovely things. And then you look at your phone and realise you've got no signal and no internet.
So our top tip number 2.
You need a plank. And you need a long plank. On
some canals.
Yeah. I mean, not every canal. The canal that we're on at the moment, the Kennet and Avon Canal, boy, do you need a long plank.
Yeah.
You need a minimum of about 8 foot. Sometimes 10. I've even seen 12.
Yeah.
The other thing you need as well is if you've got, for example, pets like dogs that might be elderly, give them a bit of a break and get 2 planks.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we don't think of, and we found out to a disadvantage with Eric when we had little Eric, is that dogs don't actually put their legs together. They can't put one foot in front of the other. They walk like that.
Yeah.
And so when they're walking along the plank, they can't do what we do and put one foot in front of the other. And they do slip off.
They do. We've had Eric's fallen in a number of times.
Yeah.
And our daughter brought her dog, this is pre-lockdown, to the boat, and he fell in on the first occasion. So after that, we decided we'd invest in 2 planks. Now, the best thing you can do for a plank is, rather than going to a Chandler's or getting something expensive, go to the DIY store, B&Q, and buy an 8-foot scaffold plank.
Yeah.
They're about 12 quid. And they're super cheap, and you just, they do the job. They're sturdy. We've had ours modified. That was actually thank you to Jonathan from Never Enough Cruising who did it for me.
A number of years ago.
Wasn't expecting it, came back and he'd modified it to put in rungs and, anti-slip surfaces and all sorts. So you can modify your plank, but, a sort of side note top tip, if you, rather than spending a fortune on a plank, go to B&Q and buy an 8-foot scaffolding plank.
Yeah, or 2. The other thing to think about is on different canals, the Grand Union is fantastic. You don't need a plank at all, do you?
No.
You just moor up at the side, but it's really good to have chains if you're going to be using Armco.
Yeah, chains are really good. We'll show you them. But they're really good to have because they're super secure. The boat won't come loose. Sometimes people use nappy pins for Armco, but nappy pins can sort of work loose. Top tip number 3
is think about travel and car. So if you've got a car, think about where your next mooring is going to be, that you've got easy access for your car and it's safe and secure to park it wherever you're going to be parking it. If you don't have a car, then think about where's the next train station, where's the bus route, is it accessible for somebody to get to you if they need to.
Yeah, you've always got to be thinking about emergencies. If you're a continuous cruiser and you have been lucky enough to pin down a land-based job, you're going to need a car. So you're going to need to find somewhere to be able to securely park it, that's preferably near to where your boat is moored.
So what we've done on the Kennet and Avon Canal is we've asked other boaters, and that's the best recommendations you can get is from other boaters. Where do they park their car? And then we've written a list, haven't we?
We have.
All the moorings that we like to moor at and where the best place to park our car is.
The other thing you could do is, if you're, say for example on the Kennet and Avon Canal where we are now, join the Kennet and Avon Canal Boaters Society. Is it Boaters Society?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, on Facebook. And ask the question, I'm due to go to this mooring, can you tell me where I can park my car? Also, you can use canal maps online, and you can zoom into bridges and you can zoom into lanes and roads. But by and large, just speak to the boaters around you because they'll know, because they'll have been probably cruising that stretch for many years.
So, top tip number 4.
Trolley.
Definitely.
Now, we have featured our trolley in a previous vlog, but we thought it was about time it got another outing.
Yeah, our trolley we've had for how many years now?
Well, since we bought the boat, I think. Certainly within the first few months of buying the boat.
I think it cost us about £60. We did a lot of research into finding the right one.
Yeah.
We wanted one with really solid wheels.
Thick wheels too.
Thick wheels that were going to be able to withstand horrendously muddy towpaths at times. And be able to carry all of our shopping, logs, coal, whatever we need to the boat. And this one has really done us proud, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. The company that make it, they make a very good product and they've got great customer service. I'm not endorsing them in any way, shape or form. But we have had an experience where one of the wheels fell off and they sent us an entirely new trolley without any questions asked. It's brilliant for what it does, and we couldn't survive without it, to be absolutely frank. And the best bit is it folds flat, so you can put it in the boot of your car, you can stick it in the the stern of your boat, or in the engine bay if you want to store it somewhere. I don't know how people cope continuously cruising without some kind of trolley. Top tip number 5. You need good boots and wellies.
Yes. And our walking boots came to a sudden end a couple of months back, didn't they?
They did, and we've been picking our way up muddy towpaths in our Wellington boots or in our shoes, and it's not really the way to go. We should literally follow our own advice. So we did.
Yeah.
And we went to a well-known country store and we bought not walking boots,
No.
but we bought some workman's boots. So Julie is now currently walking the towpaths in a pair of hobnail boots. She looks like the chimney sweep from Mary Poppins.
Thanks.
Governor.
But they're really good. They're safety shoes. They're non-slip, which is absolutely perfect for the locks. Because I found a lot of shoes that I'd bought thinking about the locks.
Yeah, but you shouldn't really be doing locks in stilettos, should you?
They were actually really slippy.
Oh no, that was me.
That was you.
No, they are. She's right. They are very slippery, especially in the wet.
Yeah,
and
and
in the
ice.
winter. They're a death trap, to be honest with you. They are. I mean, I don't understand I know that they're a throwback from a system from many years ago before health and safety, so you could call it traditional. But if they were to be built today, they'd be built with all sorts of safety features. They'd have guardrails. They'd have, non-slip footings.
be lovely.
They'd have all sorts, but they just don't, and they are a death trap if you don't treat them with respect. And of course, the number one rule in any type of boating is sensible shoes. The other thing that was good about these shoes was that they were a lot cheaper than walking boots.
Yeah.
They were about half the price.
Yeah.
Because
They were.
they're workman's shoes, so they have to be priced reasonably.
Yeah.
And they're sturdy.
Yeah. So definitely get yourself some really sturdy shoes. Safety is so important for boating and continuously cruising. You don't want to be falling into a lock.
No.
The other thing to do, which we haven't got yet, we need to get, is some really good waterproof coats.
We do.
We've bought, I don't know how many waterproof coats. And they're not waterproof, are they?
I bought one from a well-known mountain store in Wales before I climbed up Snowdon. Not physically, as in rock climbed, but walked up the path from the base.
Half climbed it, didn't you?
Yeah, walked up the path from the railway station all the way up to the peak. Yeah. And I thought this coat was going to be amazing because it was reduced from a really high number. It was in a sale. It was reduced from a very high number from a well-known mountain supplier, so coat supplier. Honestly, Julie sneezed on me and I was soaked through. The coat is rubbish. I mean, it just doesn't cope at all with any type of wet weather.
No. So neither of our coats are properly waterproof. And the reason why, we didn't buy them is because they are so, so expensive. But I think at the end of the day, you probably get what you pay for. And it's probably cheaper in the long run to save up and invest in really good quality waterproof clothing than to buy 5 or 6 coats that never work.
Yeah. Top tip number 6
is safety. If you're continuously cruising and you're on your boat all the time, or you're perhaps going to a place of work and coming back and you're still on your boat every single day, well, what happens when you go away on holiday? Or whether you go away to visit family.
Yeah, you need to know your boat's safe.
Yeah, and so we've got a number of different things on our boat. We've got our cameras on the roof, which are amazing.
They are good.
We also make sure that we get to know the boaters that are around us.
Yeah.
Boaters are fantastic at helping and looking after each other's boats and making sure they're secure. So if you're going away, make sure you've got somebody who's trustworthy and is going to be able to look after your boat. Failing that, I'd say put it in a marina, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the one and only time we'd ever advocate going into a marina is if we were going away for a week or two and we wanted to be sure the boat was secure in a space where no one could get to it. Quite often when we've gone away, it's one of the curses of being a continuous cruiser, and it really is, and you need to understand that The minute you step outside the comfort of the marina, the boat is chained to you permanently, almost 24/7, because it's your home, it's all your possessions, everything about it. But it's also quite vulnerable, really, when you think about it. So you've got to be careful to moor up in the right places. So again, this is where speaking to boaters, getting to know boaters, they'll always tell you, don't moor here, don't moor there. And you learn very quickly from them where good places to moor are, because sometimes the worst places can look like the best places, and vice versa.
But failing that, definitely put it into a marina. That is the safest way.
Yeah.
You can make sure that you can plug it in so all the electrics are all working. You don't have to worry about your batteries. So that's probably the easiest thing to do if you're going to leave it for a little bit of time.
Indeed. I also should hasten to add that crime is not necessarily an issue out on the Cut. We get asked all the time whether it is. And sure, there are bad people everywhere, but there are bad people in all walks of life.
Top tip, number 7.
You need a musical instrument.
Do you?
No, you don't. I just wanted to show my birthday present guitar, to be honest. And me playing it very, very badly. But to be fair, a lot of boaters do have musical instruments.
Yeah, actually they do.
Usually ukuleles, because it's the nearest they can get to a guitar, but it's an awful lot smaller.
Yeah.
In my previous life, some of you won't know this, but I actually used to be Shakin' Stevens. And for those of you on the foreign shores who don't know who Shakin' Stevens is, look him up, Google him, Shakin' Stevens, yeah.
Yeah.
I was the biggest selling recording artist of the 1980s.
Were you?
I was.
Some people will believe that.
Behind the green door. Still got it.
Oh dear.
And top tip number 8.
A good sense of humour. You do need to have it. Living with him.
Yeah, you do. It's important that you can laugh at life, because you are going to have adversity. You're going to trudge half a mile down a towpath with a bucket of your own feces.
Yes.
To discover that the Elsan point is blocked, so you're going to trudge back to your boat in the rain, in the dark, in the cold, with a bucket of your own feces and a trolley until the Elsan point is fixed. When that happens, you can't get cross, you just got to laugh.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is this may look idyllic.
Yeah.
Most of the time. It is absolutely wonderful. But there are occasions where it can be a pain.
Yeah, it can
Muddy
be a pain.
towpaths is probably number 1, the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. And number 2 is blocked or broken services. So you do need a good sense of humour to live on a boat continuously. You've just got to laugh. Luckily, I am blessed with a sparkling sense of humour. I wake up in the morning
and don't.
And I
Grumpy.
sing my heart out in the mornings because I'm glad to be alive.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, only because I ate Julie's dinner the previous night and survived. But no, you do need a good sense of humour. And so, yeah, I'm blessed with a good sense of humour. You, on occasion, can be a bit grumpy. I'm just saying. She's not. She's wonderful, folks. Absolutely wonderful. Sometimes people think I give her a hard time. But it's just the way we are. We just mess about all the time. All the time. So
yes, if you saw Hide the Sock a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to put a photo of the Hide the Sock that I got Mark back on.
Yeah, she did.
Tucked it in the back of his dressing gown cord.
She did.
It was there for ages.
I didn't even know.
He was walking around the boat and it was bobbing around.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing.
I didn't know she'd done it, but there we go. But then, of course, if you'd seen the video where she jumped out on me, and that's me with a hole in my heart and a weak heart condition. I'm lucky I survived it. She does it at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Just trying for the life insurance.
Yep, that £4.50 and a pickled egg is going to come in handy. Trust me. You won't even be able to afford to buy a bag of chips with my life insurance. Anyway, we digress.
Yes.
So, good sense of humour.
Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed our couple of tips on what it's like to be a continuous cruiser. I think the most important thing is it's not scary.
Not at all, no.
It's not scary.
We've been watching some YouTube vlogs from people and they're sort of preparing to go out and you can just see the anticipation or the...
And we know what it was like.
Yeah, there's a kind of I don't know what it is, but you just get anxious that you're leaving something that you're in it's comfort and you're going into something that's going to be uncomfortable or unknown. It's easy, guys. You just slip into it like you know, like wearing a nice old favourite pair of slippers. It's so easy to live out on the cut. I say it's easy. It's easy to live out on the cut in terms of it's not as bad as you might think.
Yeah.
But there are still things you need to do.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd share this with you today because some of you out there might be thinking of doing the very same thing. You know, we get a lot of questions from people that tell us that they're thinking of selling up and moving onto a boat, or they want to sell their house and, you know, continuously cruise the network. So this is really for you as well.
Yeah.
We were contacted by a guy called Dave Billingham, and Dave's lovely wife Leslie is celebrating her birthday on the 24th of March. So hopefully this vlog will go out in or near to her birthday.
Yes.
So he wanted us to say happy birthday, Leslie.
He also gave you another message, didn't he?
He did, and I'm a bit
quite mean.
dubious to read this one out because
I think he's mean.
I get enough hate messages from people telling me that I'm cruel enough as it is. But anyway, I'm gonna put the caveat. Dave Billingham said this, or wanted me to say this. So
I don't think you should.
I've got to. It's part of the deal. So, okay, don't shoot the messenger. Leslie, this picture, this is my wide beam next to my narrow beam. Make of that what you will.
He's so evil.
Cruel, cruel man.
Cruel.
Oh, that's abuse, that is.
I feel sorry for Leslie.
Yeah. If you need a good divorce lawyer, Leslie, give me a call because I'm in contact with one already.
But we hope you have and had a wonderful birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Can we say thank you to Edward Dill, who's our PayPal donation this week. So thank you very, very much. I know he was having a jalfrezi. We were definitely going to have a Naga chili.
Or
chicken.
a karahi.
Or karahi.
That's become the new favourite. Yeah. So thank you very much indeed for your donation. Entirely unexpected, but delightfully received.
Yes, thank you.
And I'd also like to thank our new patrons this week. Carl Wood, thank you very much indeed for your kind support. And Dale Jones, also again, thank you very much indeed for your kind support. As before, it's never expected, but it's always a pleasure when we do receive it. So thank you guys. It means the world to us.
And it really does help us to get new equipment and continue the vlogging.
Indeed. And also, I've got an expensive divorce lawyer to pay.
I will be divorcing you in a minute.
But no, thank you very much, guys.
On that note, can we say thank you for watching?
Thank you for watching. If you like this video,
if you can give it a thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe. It's free to do so. And when you do subscribe, click the bell icon and that will tell you when we post new videos. And
don't forget to comment. We love to hear your comments. I got it right!
She got it right. Yeah, we answer every single one of them. It's the highlight of our week.
And we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye!